All right, Tushar, this is it's almost a little bit one of my favorite topics. Influencers sometimes come in a second, sometimes they come in a lifetime. Um, when I speak, I always talk about my grandfather as being an influencer for me. And him, my grandmother, my mom, my aunt came from Kyiv years and years ago and immigrated to Canada. And he used to take me for walks in the park when I was about
Wow,
5 years old in Montreal. And he talked to
sure.
everybody. And one day I asked him, I called him Zeta. I said, "How do you know all these people?" And he said, "Well," I remember him pointing to see that gentleman coming here. One day I smiled at him, and he looked up and smiled at me. And then he came over, and we started talking, and we're doing stuff again. And then another person came over, saw us smiling at each other, and came over also and talked with us. And as a 5 year old, I'm thinking, well, first of all, 5 year olds shouldn't have that many problems at that point. But I'm thinking, well, life's pretty simple. I just have to smile at people. And then sometimes you overcomplicate it as you get older about this and this, that, but it's really simple. Even a smile can be a major influence on people at the right time. So we all have different influencers, many through our life. Can you share two or three people that have been influential in your life?
Well, personally, just like in your case, it was a family person. My mother played a huge role in my life, and that is because we were not that well off. My father used to work in a government company, and we it used to be a transferable job, and my mother never made it sound look difficult for us. She said, "Okay, no, we'll go on a scooter, we'll go on a bike, and we'll go in buses, and we live in small towns." And it was, she made it fun always. And till today I remember that I've never felt that I didn't have anything in, anything which I didn't have in life. I it was There was always everything which I was happy about. And I used to be lighthearted, always fun loving and cracking jokes. And she never told me, "Tushar, don't do it much, stop this." She never stopped me. And that is why I had a happier life till today. And second thing, is there is a guy called Naval Ravikant, who's the founder of Angel List. Since the time I started reading about him, seeing his videos, and I realized that there were many things about my life which I used to think and then I realized that you don't have to compromise and lessen your life into words. You have to think about life in grander terms, in different terms. Like, you have to read more books, understand it better, and so, like, reading him, listening to him, made me a better person. And that is why I've always been very fond of, like, his book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. It's really amazing. I mean, this guy had seven startups and one succeeded. And so but his works are really good. And the third person is, of course, Mr. Narayan Murthy. So in India, the businesses were led by government. And so our parents, like my father, used to work for a government job, and it was very difficult to do a private business because we were more guided by by Soviet Union, and by the communism.
Hmm.
And at that time, I remember in school I used to read about this guy, Mr. Narayan Murthy, and they said he created the first global IT company of India, Infosys. And the way he did was totally ethical, totally moral, no corruption, uh, totally focused on knowledge-driven company. For the first time, my father, I remember, told me once, he said, "Tushar, I just can't understand how can somebody create a $1 billion company just by knowledge." And that is the meaning it gave to people around me, around when I saw people, we can learn more and become billionaires. Before that, it was the government contacts. It was, how you could manage people. And then it turned to uh, becoming rich by, and in an ethical way, like Infosys gave out most of its equity to employees. More than 90% equity was with employees. It just made people millionaires and billionaires. So, Mr. Narayan Murthy will stay always as one person who gave new meaning to business for a lot of Indians, including me.
I compare a lot of things to sports, and teams win championships, not one person. And that's kind of what you're talking about, and giving equity to the employees and whatnot. If people have a stake and they feel that they're that they're valued, you win the championships
Yeah,
more often than
absolutely.
not. So thank you for sharing that. We
Thank you.
always talk about here also that we should all recognize that we're influencing people all the time also, even if we don't even know it. We're influencing
Yeah,
people, and it's a choice to being positive or not. And it seems,
yeah,
or being funny and telling a good joke, as you say, or whatnot. And so kudos to your mom too for
yeah.
letting you be
Thank
that
you.
way, because
Thank you.
it's at the minimum it allows for growth, and it allows for less stress
Yeah,
in life
yeah,
by being
yeah.
that way. And so thank you for sharing that, and
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
keep influencing yourself too.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks.